is begging to go into war in Lebanon. Okay, begging. They drop flyers to threaten. They drop flyers to threaten, Lebanon with an invasion. They did this shit. It's a mass terror attack. That's what it is, by the way. And it's being celebrated as a fucking epic move. I just want you to understand what they did is a breach of international law. Once again, just so you understand, it is completely illegal. What they did is unconscionable, just a straight up act of terrorism. But of course, that's all Israel does. Israel does as much terrorism as they want to do, and ain't nobody fucking can say a goddamn thing about it. Okay? I don't know, maybe because Thousand Pockets, how is that not the main news for you? Okay, take a week off, you absolute fucking baboon, okay? I'm literally in the process of covering the story, and this guy is mad that I'm not covering the story that I'm currently covering, because not only are you a baboon who is incapable of reading the words that are in front of you, you apparently do not understand the English language, because I'm currently communicating to you that I'm covering the story, and you're mad at me for not covering the story, okay? What the fuck is going on? Now let's take a look at how epic the media is covering this epic act of mass terror.
His Ministry of Public Health says at least 8 people are dead and roughly 2,700 more injured after a number of pagers.
The numbers have increased since this story came out.
Exploded. CCTV shows the moment one explosion happened at a supermarket in Beirut. One man was knocked to the ground. And here's a look at Beirut now, where Hezbollah says the causes of those explosions are still unknown. But they say the pagers were owned.
They're here to debate you whether there's a bomb inside the pagers. No joke. They stunlocked Mike for 1 hour earlier. I'm not a fucking, bomb expert, dude. I don't fucking know if there were bombs in the goddamn pagers or if they, overloaded the pagers enough that they exploded. I don't know. Okay? I have no idea. And I don't even care about whether they actually fucking snuck bombs into the pagers or if they somehow were able to overload the pagers enough that they exploded, because guess what? Either or, it still is an act of fucking terror, like mass terror, with the intent to cause chaos and kill as many people as possible, or at least maim them in a country that Israel is not actively fighting against.
By a number of workers in various Hezbollah units and institutions. I want to bring in foreign correspondent Tom Sufi-Burge in Paris, along with ABC News contributor, former senior CIA field operative Daryl Blocker for more. Tom, what's the latest?
Yeah, Diane, this appears to be a highly sophisticated and widespread attack across...
Yeah, super sophisticated. Israel is fucking small bean, but also very moral and very responsible in the way that they're doing mass terror here in Lebanon, where I'm standing in front of civilians. Very nice.
Lebanon. Lebanon's health ministry now saying 2,750 people injured in this attack, including 200 of those people critically injured. We're seeing video which is too graphic to show you of catastrophic.
Yeah, hey, by the way, if you want to understand whether something is immoral and unconscionable, imagine if Russia did this in Ukraine. That way, you will very quickly recognize how the media would react. Okay? Okay? If Russia did this in Ukraine, literally everyone would understandably go, "What the fuck are you doing? This is just mass terrorism. Holy shit." And it's not even in Ukraine, actually. If Russia was doing this in fucking Poland, all right? And we don't actually have to analyze or speculate, because guess what? Russia does do this to their own political dissidents every now and then. Never to this degree, never this widespread, actively targeting thousands of fucking people that are among civilians. You know what I mean?
Catastrophic injuries to a number of individuals in multiple hospitals across Lebanon. They're saying that 8 people have been killed in the attack, including a 10-year-old girl. We've had now 2 statements from Hezbollah, that Iranian-backed proxy group based in Lebanon. They are saying 2 of their members are amongst the 8 people.
Okay, first of all, it's not just a proxy group based in Lebanon. It's also a fucking political party, dude. What the fuck? Oh my God. Well, Hezbollah is a terrorist organization. Dog, if Hezbollah is a terrorist organization, America is the top terrorist organization, which it is, by the way. America is the top dog in terrorism, and so is Israel. What the fuck are you talking about? No, what you meant to say is Hezbollah is Muslim. Okay? That's what you meant to say. What you meant to say is they're Muslim. So, of course, as they're Muslim, it's different. They're Muslim. It's so funny to say, well, Hezbollah is a terrorist organization when we are covering a story about Israel openly taking credit over exploding fucking pagers directly in a country that they're not in war with right now, okay? Around civilians. Like, you would justify 9/11 if Israel did it to another country, straight up at that point. They killed a fucking 8-year-old, man, or a 10-year-old. You might be brain dead, but we already knew this. Come on, brother. Come on, dude. Is this the only thing you got? Is this actually the only thing you got? You can't speak out on the atrocities that Israel does in Gaza. So now it's like a new debate position that like they deserved it. They all have to fucking, everyone that is in the vicinity of Israel needs to die. Is that your actual argument? Just go back to watching your fucking pro-genocide debate, Lord, please. Just leave and go watch that. Okay? Holy fuck, dude. The Hasbara bots are clowns, ignore it. I don't even think this is a Hasbara bot. I think this is just like a fucking serial debate guy. That's probably what it is.
Killed in this attack, and Hezbollah is saying that what happened is at about 3:30 in the afternoon local time in Lebanon, pager devices, remember those are devices that can receive messages but not calls, effectively exploded. So members of Hezbollah carrying pagers, we've seen videos confirming this, that appear to show individuals looking down towards what
I feel like people don't look at this with nuance, regardless of their position. Should civilians have been hurt during this attack? It's okay since it was meant to target militants. It's not. Like, dude. Like, imagine. First of all, there are certain rules about like how you can conduct international war, and the rules are there so that it doesn't happen to you either. Okay? You can't always run with the assumption that like our guns are better, our cyber terrorism is better, so we get to do it and they get to do nothing in return. This is one of those rules. You cannot mass explode communication devices used by fucking civilians. De facto terrorism, since many of the people whose pagers were blown up are not military targets, but civilian members of the political wing of Hezbollah, and the chaos it caused, for example, if the victims were driving or in a crowded area, it could mean more random civilian deaths. It is directly an act of terrorism, okay? It's directly an act of terrorism in not a war zone, mind you, okay? You can just say that they're Muslim, so they deserved it all day, every day, but it doesn't fucking matter. Yeah. I'm from Lebanon. The pagers are available for everyone. My cousin had one too. He works as a nurse. Fortunately, she did not hold it in her hands. The absolute majority of casualties are civilians, over 4,000 already. Like, this is insane, dude. This is insane. I don't care about Hezbollah members. No civilian would use a pager, dog. Are you fucking stupid, dude? What do you mean no civilian would use a pager? The civilians that use pagers are doctors and nurses, you fucking idiot. What the fuck are you talking about? Hospitals still use them, you dumb fuck. Bro, I get it. Like, in order to defend the Israeli genocide and the Israeli apartheid regime, like, you have to basically fucking bludgeon your head multiple times in an effort to fucking arrive at a position that what Israel is doing is good. But like, you can't be this stupid, okay? What's the link to Israel not being contentious? I mean, they straight up took ownership over it. Oh. This is some of the most disgusting shit I've ever heard. Just completely random 9/11. Yeah. It's not indistinguishable from terrorism, says Sturgeon's Law. There is no better way to describe it. Here's Edward Snowden's take on it, and here's Yusuf's take on it as well. Yusuf Munayer. The apparent Israeli mass cyber attack in Lebanon that detonated cellular devices and pagers is a grave violation of international human law and opens a dangerous Pandora's box. Almost every human is a walking, ticking bomb, and it won't be long before this tech will be used by many actors. That's the other side of this process. Okay? The other side of this yeah, I'm going to talk about the fucking racist asshole in a second. Okay, calm down. We're going to get there. How long before dissidents targeted by Putin, Modi, KSA, Iran, Israel, and many others fall prey to such an assassination tactic? No need to poison tea anymore. Parents in Lebanon, just like parents all over the world, let their kids play with their phones from time to time. How many Lebanese kids did Israel blow up today with their gimmicks? What Israel has done is, via any method, reckless. They blow up countless numbers of people who were driving, meaning cars out of control, shopping. Your children are in a stroller standing behind him in the checkout line. Indistinguishable from terrorism because it is terrorism. It's not indistinguishable from terrorism. It is an act of terror. Okay? As information comes in about the exploding beepers in Lebanon, it seems now more likely that than not to be implanted explosives, not a hack. Why? Too many consistent, very serious injuries. If it were overheated batteries exploding, you'd expect many more small fires and misfires. Sky News Arabia reports that the pagers were packed with a small amount of PETN, which was detonated by raising battery temperatures. So it seems like, at least according to Sky News Arabia, initial sources say that there was a quantity of highly explosive PETN that was placed on the device's battery and detonated by raising the battery's temperature. Okay, so this was more targeted. This was more targeted than just like simply exploding the hundreds of thousands of pagers that are in use. Okay, and it's obviously not just like a battery explosion. However, the issue in this process is people fucking give away pagers. Okay, and not only that, but also people are driving cars. People are fucking, at the checkout line at the grocery store. When you're exploding fucking pagers randomly, okay, in an act of terror, you're killing a lot of people, including an 8-year-old. People are flying fucking planes. Like, imagine a Hezbollah dude, okay? A Hezbollah dude in Lebanon, a political operative, a civilian, right? Not a militant, but a political operative is on a fucking airplane. That airplane could be flying over any territory. That fucking pager explodes inside of that airplane. Not a small plane, like a straight up commercial airline. How many fucking civilians does Israel kill in that process? Think about that. Airplane explodes in the pager explodes inside of the fucking airplane. What happens? They don't get service in airplanes? You're wrong. They do. You're actually wrong. Did that happen? Or are you posing a hypothetical? I'm posing a hypothetical as to why there are rules around this sort of thing. What the fuck are you talking about? Al Jazeera saying that the pagers in the Israeli attack were indeed packed with explosives and were imported into Lebanese territory 5 months ago. And Axios says that the decision was made by the Israeli state to detonate the pagers a week ago. They're fucking flexing. They want to go to war with Lebanon. So they're trying to gear up for this war with Lebanon. They want to invade Lebanon. I don't know if you already covered this, but there were pagers that exploded in doctors' possessions. Yeah, of course. It makes fucking sense, dude. It makes total perfect sense. Like, you have no way of sneaking in pagers specifically for Hezbollah. You know that, right? And even if you did have a way, of sneaking it and just giving it to only Hezbollah militants, generals, okay? You have no way of knowing that they're not around fucking random civilians. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? The cost of life is nothing for so many people, I think. As long as you're just, a criminal automatically for being born in Lebanon, you're just an unforeseeable consequence. Like, sorry, it's just collateral damage. Like, what the fuck? This is a mass scale attack. This is an act of terrorism, and it's pure Orientalism to say it's not. No, I'm saying even if they were exclusively somehow able to give pagers to like Hezbollah military members, okay? Even if they were able to like feed it just to the fucking Hezbollah militant commanders, exploding pagers like this when they are in civilian life, think about it, okay? If the reverse of this happened with the IDF, if you had like IDF soldiers, IDF generals, and their fucking pagers exploded, the entire world would be like, this is the most unimaginable act of terror, okay? This is so completely and utterly unacceptable. They're not actively in fucking combat. They're like literally going home. It's crazy. These are de facto, these are not enemy combatants, okay, under international law at that moment. This is an assassination. I cannot believe how much Israel has normalized just like murking whoever the fuck they feel like. This guy says political members of a military organization are legitimate targets. In fact, political members of organizations are more legitimate targets than the actual militants. One, international law doesn't sanction this idea. Two, Hezbollah's political operatives aren't political members of a military organization. They are the political party. Hezbollah is not itself a military organization. The political and paramilitary wings are separate entities. The separation in that situation is more apparent than even like the distinction between an American politician and the American military. Okay? Actually, it's not that different. It's the identical almost. Like there was a dude that was caught on fucking tape, dude. He was in the supermarket. He's in the grocery store. Do you think this is all right? Like, think about it, dude. Think about it. Okay? Like a bomb just explodes when you're at fucking checkout at Walmart because the dude in front of you bought a fucking dud pager. Like, you think that's all right? It fucking maims your daughter. It maims your son. You think that's you would be like, this is appropriate? No, you would not. You would not consider it to be appropriate at all. The only reason why you think it's permissible is because the victims are brown, dude. That's it. And no, for the record, you just said, if this doesn't outrage the public, our future isn't looking great. It's not going to, because the media is already celebrating how brilliant this is. Blowing up Hezbollah pagers would have been a game changer in an all-out war in Israel's favor, but they wasted this stunt now to try and put off a war they know they can't win. Israel's losing Gaza. The north is empty and Hezbollah is systematically destroying it. Netanyahu will do anything to secure any sort of victory to satisfy his rabid base. Even after this attack, Israel didn't achieve any of their main goals. That's the other part of this. Like, they did this. If they were to do this in the midst of like an operation, in the midst of like an on the ground, like straight up invasion, that would be one thing. It would still be a foul act of terror, but at least it would actually have strategic importance. Okay. And I wouldn't put it past Israel to do that. Having said that, not only is this an act of terror, an overt act of terror in violation of international laws, okay, it also was meaningless. It was meaningless. It was just to be like, it was just a flex to be like, hey guys, I know that we're not in favor anymore. Like, our intelligence community is not what it once was, but like, we still got it.
What appears to be a pager device, and then the explosion. This appears to have been very widespread across multiple regions across Lebanon. And one of the victims, significantly, Diane, is, according to Iranian state TV, Iran's ambassador to Lebanon. So that's highly significant. Israel has not commented on this attack as things stand. We know, of course, for years, Israel has been conducting a shadow war against Iranian proxies in the region, including Hezbollah. And of course, it's been trading attacks across its northern border into southern Lebanon with Hezbollah for the best part of a year throughout the war as the war in Gaza continues. Israel does not comment on the attacks it
Hezbollah member, son of terror group MP. That means it was a politician, okay? As in, they exploded the pager of an MP, but a terror group MP, but an MP nonetheless. And they're like, it's like killing a congressperson and their son or daughter. A Reuters story from July details how Hezbollah, in the aftermath of Israel killing one of its top commanders, shifted even further away from cell phone communication. Hezbollah, Reuters reported at the time, was opting to go with the low-tech route of pagers. Cell phones, which can be used to track a user's location, have been banned from the battlefield in favor of more old-fashioned communication, including pagers and couriers who deliver verbal messages in person, two of the sources said. It's the greatest preemptive strike ever. Yeah, so was 9/11, bitch ass. Shut up. God damn, dude. I fucking hate these losers, dude. Oh my God. It's just no amount of terrorism that is responsible for bloodshed of innocence is going to be something that people go, this might be a bridge too far for me. Preemptive strike, you call it. Death toll officially is up to 11 and 4,000 wounded, like maimed. Wounded doesn't just mean like, oh, you have scratches, okay? It means like your shit got blown off, your hand, your arm, body parts.
conducts in its near abroad, but the finger of suspicion, given the sophisticated nature of this attack, will be pointed towards Israel. And Hezbollah, in a second statement I've just received, is now saying that it holds Israel responsible and that this attack will not go, in its words, unpunished.
And Daryl, how does this even work? How do you turn a wireless device like a pager?
Yeah, we'll find out more about this. But by the way, like, there is no assurances that the pagers that you're selling only stay in the hands of Hezbollah. That's the other part of this process. Now, a more ethical thing you could possibly do in that situation is to put trackers in the fucking pagers. Okay? And trace the pagers and ensure that they know, ensure that they fucking know where these guys are, where Hezbollah militants are, whatever. All this shit. But no, they don't want to do that because they want to blow shit up, because they don't give a fuck, because they know that no matter what happens, the Western media will back them. And also, the devices apparently were programmed to beep for several seconds before exploding, according to the officials who spoke on the condition of anonymity because of the sensitivity of the matter. Why would you want to do that? Well, it's because if it's on your desk and it starts beeping, you pick it up and you look at it so it fucking blows up in your face. Just so you understand the gross nature of this attack. Like intercepting a supply chain and fucking adding plastic explosives, like the chemicals used for like Semtex, is just unimaginable, dude. I am shocked at the cruelty of this. Yeah. They're also, by the way, breaking over 500 Hezbollah members lost their eyes today. Okay. When they say Hezbollah members, they're also talking about members of the parliament, okay? Like straight up politicians, for the record, just so you understand. They're not talking about just like militants and military wing of Hezbollah. This has to be considered a war crime? Yes, of course it's a war crime. But with Israel, it's basically yet another war crime that it gets to do, and not a single person will say anything about it. And if you do say something about it, you're a fucking idiot, and you should shut the fuck up because they deserve it. And that it is totally valid, totally permissible. Fuck you for ever saying anything. And now we get to do Fortnite dances on the corpses of fucking, Lebanese children too. And also, I'm anti-Semitic. Can this be the final straw? No, dude. At this point, I'm going to be honest with you. Israel could fucking nuke Lebanon, and they still wouldn't consider that to be far too much. Okay? Straight up. It's a terrifying prospect, but I legitimately believe this. A Lebanese security source tells Al Jazeera that the Hezbollah pages that exploded earlier today were imported to Lebanon 5 months ago. The report says the communication devices were rigged with up to 20 grams of explosive material. A separate report by the UAE-backed Sky News Arabia claims that the Mossad placed PETN, a powerful explosive material, on the batteries of the pagers and detonated them by raising the temperature. Now, the thing is, a lot of people say, oh, this is James Bond shit, not realizing, yeah, it's James Bond shit. It's the James Bond villain that does this, okay? There is no movie in which the intelligence communities that are supposed to be presented as the good guys would be exploding these fucking devices around civilians, okay? There's not a single fucking movie where the good guys would do that. It's the bad guys that would do that, okay? Just so you understand. How is anyone in the region supposed to look at this and go, Israel is literally a violent entity that is swinging at every single country that has the unfortunate consequence of being in its immediate fucking vicinity. Shocking.
Or a phone into an explosive.
So, Diane, I'm assuming that question was directed towards me. So, the lithium batteries that are in some of these pagers are exploding all the time. You hear about them on planes. You hear about them overheating. That may be a part of it. But in order to basically take over an entire network, whether it's technologically or to physically gain access and put.
I'm Iranian, and all I will say is that Hezbollah is not just a little political party. They're the very embodiment of horrible acts based on extreme religious belief. Yeah, this is really funny to say when we're talking about fucking Israel, which just did a significantly worse horrible act. Just reverse the fucking role, Iranian man signing off from Langley, Virginia, and then you will understand the severity of the crime. If Hezbollah exploded fucking thousands of goddamn pagers inside of Israel, and said we're doing this for Islam, and if you criticize us, you're Islamophobic, everyone would turn around and be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Okay? Shut the fuck up, dude. Like, what is this? What is this? Like, oh, they deserved it then. I guess, sorry, if you're Lebanese in the vicinity of a fucking, like, Lebanese politician from Hezbollah, okay, then you deserve to die too. Yeah. If the same was done to Israelis, BM is right, Israel would have called it a second 710, aka the third Holocaust, and would have been bombing all over Lebanon like crazy right now with the full backing of the entire world that would have been horrified of the unprecedented, atrocious terrorist attack against innocent Israelis. 100%. Like that's in the middle of a supermarket, man. That's crazy. Like you're fucking out of your goddamn mind. And that's the one that we have like direct footage of. There's kids there. There's elderly people there. What are you talking about? There's a kid in the shot. And fucking ultra Zionists are gloating on Twitter about this. They're like, hell yeah, baby. They're doing it. We devices, did the damn thing.
Small pieces of debt cord inside of these things would be very, very difficult for 2,700 devices. So I think with time, we'll learn a little bit more.
All right, Tom Sufi Burridge, Daryl Blocker, thank you.
These are the first pictures into us showing people's pages exploding in Lebanon. Now, the government is urging people to get rid of their pages after this bizarre attack. Sources say pages belonging to members of the Iran-backed Hezbollah began exploding in areas where the group operates. Let's just watch this video again. This is video just into CNN. It shows the moment where pages exploded. This is in one of the markets, as you can see. All right, Ben, you were listening in on all these new lines that are coming in. Iran's ambassador to Lebanon injured in this attack, according to Iranian media. We're hearing Lebanese health department really asking for all health workers to report back to work.
You might want to cover this. Bro, are you fucking insane? I'm literally in the process of covering it. Are you joking? Like, what the fuck's going on with the chat right now? This is what I'm covering. This is the story I'm covering right now. Here's what the New York War Crimes said. Pagers explode, the New York Times headline reads, after their friends in Israel detonated devices near thousands of Lebanese people in homes, hospitals, and busy streets. If it was any other perpetrator, they would call it a terrorist attack. Look at the fucking, look at the passive voice here. Israel, the greatest cop nation. Pagers explode across Lebanon after Israel warns Hezbollah. Hezbollah said pagers belonging to its members had exploded, and health officials said over 2,700 were wounded. The Israeli military declined to comment. Pagers explode naturally, okay, when they're under extreme distress. Okay, at the top of the hour ad break explodes naturally as well, unless you subscribe, in which case it won't. How do they get the pagers to explode? 5 months ago, according to some sources, this is the speculation or the preliminary reporting on the matter is that Mossad put a bunch of explosives inside of pagers and shipped it into, like, disrupted the supply chain that was going into Lebanon. They put they planted bombs inside of pagers. Okay, those pagers, they had no fucking like genuine knowledge if it would go to like random civilians or directly to just like Hezbollah members. Many of which are, by the way, not even militants, but directly just like members of the parliament. Okay, so civilians, just so you understand. They're brown, they're Muslim, scary, I know, but still civilians. Okay? Including but not limited to, you know, other people that might be using pagers as well. You know, like nurses and doctors alike. Could it be an exploit? No. Normal batteries don't explode like that. I think the exploit is that they probably fried the battery so that it would activate the explosive. Over 3,000 pagers were rigged with explosives. Is this a reasonable claim? I mean, seems to me like that's what happened. Are there reports of civilian casualties? Yes, of course. 4,000 is the latest estimate of the wounded civilians in the process, like maimed. A 10-year-old girl died due to the pager explosion. A geomagnetic storm was happening around that time that can affect electronic devices. What the fuck are you talking about? It's bad either way, but if they basically only exploded civilians, how do you even spin this for Israel? It doesn't matter. Israel can do whatever the fuck it wants, and the American media will defend it. Also, I'm running the 3-minute ad break now. I forgot to do it. Same chatter, same bro wasn't saying the N-word yesterday is always going to happen.
This is something that we've been paying attention to for more than almost a year now, since Hamas's attack on Israel on October 7. And so we've been very, very focused. The secretary's been very, very focused on ensuring that the tensions in the region do not escalate into a wider regional conflict. And as I highlighted at the top, that's something that continues.
I mean, but it is. Not sure which is worse. At this point, Israel doesn't need to run shit by the U.S. In fact, it seems like the other way around. Yeah. Here's a doctor in internal medicine in Beirut, Dania El-Halak. I smelled too much blood today and tried to stop many slaughtered body parts from bleeding, which was pointless. What we are going through is unbelievable. As a doctor, you are not expected and allowed to say which was pointless. As a doctor, you don't tell me what I'm allowed to say, as I know better, idiot. And please understand the context of the text first, then speak. Pointless was meant to explain that the bleeding was impossible to stop, and yet we continued to work. I'm not even kidding, dude. Israel could do this in America, and America wouldn't do shit. Straight up. Maybe one day we'll find out. America condemns the American citizens that were exploded by Israeli bombs for hurting the feelings of the great state of Israel. Israel blows up, you know, fucking Columbia campus student protesters, and America's like, well, they were in the wrong. They shouldn't have actually said something. They shouldn't have said something mean about Israel.
We don't know what the target is. We don't know who the target was. We're getting more information on this front, Ben. But as this is all coming to a head at this stage, I wonder from your perspective, and this is the big concern, what it means for the region from a security perspective, from an escalation point of view as well, Ben.
Well, this certainly represents a serious escalation because what we're talking about is, according to these Lebanese security sources, hundreds of people being injured. And by all accounts, they seem to be all Hezbollah members. And probably these are Hezbollah members who are not sort of rank and file. These are probably local commanders, people who are in charge of units, lead units from Hezbollah. And the fact that Mushtaba Amani,
so why did fucking MPs get blown up?
the Iranian ambassador to Beirut, may be among the injured, sort of brings it up another level because you are talking about an Iranian diplomat being injured in this. Don't forget that on the 1st of April of this year, there was it's what's widely believed to have been an Israeli strike on an Iranian diplomatic complex in Damascus, which that set off a series of strikes and counterstrikes, raising the temperature even further. So this may be a similar sort of event where not only are there perhaps hundreds, perhaps more casualties among Hezbollah members, but also a senior Iranian diplomat as well. So certainly this.
See how quick even Americans in chat get terrified from the mention of the idea of any violence actually affecting them, yet many outside of chat don't have an ounce of sympathy for those who experience this violence on a regular. Yeah. Yeah, they got fucking 10-year-old girls commanding Hezbollah military units. That's why they died.
It sets the stage for a major escalation between not only Hezbollah and Israel, but perhaps Iran as well.
All right, Ben Wiedemann, thank you so much. Joining us now, we've got Firaz Maqsad, who is the Director of Outreach at the Middle East Institute in Washington, as we're getting this breaking news in with hundreds of people injured, specifically Hezbollah members, after their pages exploded. Firaz, great to have you with us. What is your initial response to this news?
No doubt a major operation and a wonderful, I mean, maybe wonderful is the wrong word, but an exceptional breakthrough for Israeli intelligence there.
Bro, they blew up a 10-year-old, bro. That's crazy. Hayvan. Just a fucking straight up Nazi, dude. On CNN, by the way. What a wonderful, wonderful act of terror. Like, how is this any different than... Bro, this is just celebrating 9/11, you know? This is what Trump and everyone else lied about and said Muslims were doing, you know what I mean, on rooftops or some shit. Love the director of outreach at the Middle East Institute saying this, by the way. Wonderful. I mean, exceptional breakthrough. when you see this kind of stuff, I think, I hope you understand why the rest of the world, like in a lot of instances, despise us. Okay. That's why it's so funny when people chirp about, like, I don't know, people burning American flags in like Iran or some shit. It's like, what are you talking about? Do you know the fucking pain that we cause everywhere on a daily fucking basis, dude? Another incredible Israeli operation that could spark a major Lebanon war expected when you're hemorrhaging deterrence and relying on U.S. to keep Netanyahu at bay. Hezbollah needs to restore deterrence but doesn't want to give Bibi a pretext. Time to decouple Lebanon from Gaza. What the fuck? I feel like that seems like the opposite of what he's saying here.
Be able to penetrate Hezbollah's telecommunication
Am I
network.
misunderstanding what he's saying? No, what he said right there is like the opposite of... Did I misunderstand what he was saying? Another incredible Israeli operation that could spark a major Lebanon war expected when you're hemorrhaging deterrence and relying on U.S. to keep Netanyahu at bay. Hezbollah needs to restore deterrence but doesn't want to give Bibi a pretext. Oh, he's saying Hezbollah needs to stop like trying to do deterrence and just give up. Never mind.
Can blow up hundreds, if not thousands, of pagers all at once.
So Firaz, just to interject there, you mentioned Israeli intelligence being behind.
You mentioned it was wonderful. Maybe let's go back to that. That seems like a thing that I would ask a follow-up question on.
Behind this is that what you're characterizing this as, that Israel was behind this? We don't have confirmation of that, and of course, we're getting information in real time. Why do you assume it's Israel?
Absolutely. I mean, in the context of all that's happening, there is very little doubt in my mind, and I think in the mind of most Middle East watchers, that Israeli intelligence is behind this. Now, Israel does have a long track record of sometimes, quite often, actually not claiming its operations to allow for some plausible deniability and perhaps allow the other side to de-escalate and not feel that they are compelled to retaliate. But for all practical reasons, everybody here would probably suspect Israel as being behind this operation.
Friendly reminder, a UK activist is facing prison for referring to October 7th as incredible. I mean, yeah, this is why I always say you must not, but you also definitely cannot be callous in the same way that like those who defend Israel's atrocities are. You just can't. There is obviously a fucking double standard. And anyone who's been doing this for as long as I have will tell you that.
As we're getting more information in, and the other piece of news from Iranian media is that the Iranian ambassador to Lebanon was also injured. How significant is this?
Well, I mean, this is very significant because we currently have the American envoy in Israel and in the region very much for the purpose of de-escalating and preventing Israel from broadening this war, pulling Lebanon into it in a major way, and also in a manner that can also bring in...
You don't bring your warfare into the public space. We always condemn any army that brings a war into a civilian area, yet we praise it as a victory. What victory is there for the loss of innocent? I don't know if you know this, but like for the past fucking 30 years, America has very actively prosecuted wars in civilian areas and killed a shit ton of civilians. And that's before we calculate the unimaginable harm caused by sanctions. So Americans are very, very open-minded to an untold amount of violence as long as it's like kept to the third world. It's been far longer than that, but I'm talking specifically for the war on terror when I say the 30 years. Okay? Chat, I'm talking about direct boots on the ground military war, okay, in civilian areas. Obviously, there's only been like, 17 years where the United States of America was not actively involved in some kind of fucking war in its entire history. But that's not what I'm talking about right now. I'm talking specifically about the appetite that Americans have for permanent genocide of Muslims, Arabs, and brown people as a whole.
And dragging Iran, Hezbollah's main patron, which perhaps and has threatened before openly not to stand by if Israel launches a major operation in Lebanon. So yes, this has the hallmark of an Israeli operation. It has the propensity, the potentiality to broaden in a way that the American administration has been pushing and trying to thwart through diplomacy for quite some time now, almost a year since October 7th.
Juliet, in terms of Iranian's ambassador to Lebanon being part of the injured as well, we've spoken about this for the last few minutes to sort of get a sense and understand what this means in terms of escalation. You've just heard from Faraz. He says this has got the hallmarks of an Israeli attack. We just don't know yet. But how are you going to read into this in terms of what it could mean regionally?
Yes. So we don't have to be blind.
What is this? Bro, how are these motherfuckers actual subscribers, dog? What the fuck? Be honest, man, this was a huge setback for resistant groups. Israel secured a huge W on this. Big cope. Israel secured a huge W in this one. No way to spin it. Extremists are triggered. I think you might be the extremist that is triggered in this circumstance, chatter. Like, you know, I unbanned you just so you can defend your position here. Do you think it's defensible to kill a fuck ton of civilian politicians and also simultaneously kill like random children and shit? Maim thousands of people? Would you not consider it to be an act of terror if a Muslim group happened to do this on U.S. soil, or a Muslim group happened to do this on Israeli soil? You would literally be sitting here being like, this is October 7 all over again. He called you gay in 2020. You act like a beta cuck. I disagree with you. How do you feel as a gay man having someone to talk about your demographic like that? Actually can't believe she said that. Disenfranchised chatter turned Divorcelli fan. You don't act like there isn't a shadow proxy war ongoing already. Dog, the United States of America is engaging in proxy wars in like virtually every country on the planet. Do you consider that to be an act of terror if one of those fucking groups actually retaliated in the similar way that Israel was able to pull off in Lebanon? The question I asked you was direct. Do you think if roles were reversed and Hezbollah was able to fucking secure plastic explosives in a logistical shipment that went to like Israeli Knesset members and IDF military members that were, you know, living alongside Israeli society, would you condemn that? Or would you say, nah, this was a big W for the resistance groups? I don't think you would say that's a big W for the resistance groups. I think you would say, oh my God, this is the worst act of terror since October 7. Okay? And I know you would say that because obviously the perspective that you have right now implies that you are in defense of Israel because Israel was struck on October 7, and now you think any amount of violence that Israel engages in is permissible. Do you get it? Chatter using Trump reject nicknames? No, he's joking. This is sarcastic, most likely. Just saying it isn't so black and white. There's a plausible casus belli for Israel with the people expelled from the north. Okay. Do you think there is a plausible casus belli for Hezbollah or Palestinians to do October 7 then? 75 years of occupation. It seems to me like you literally are justifying October 7. Is that what you're saying? I can't believe people were expelled from the north of Israel. How did Israel materialize to begin with? It wasn't through magic. It was through forcible expulsion of 750,000 Palestinians. Is there plausible casus belli for that? Or do you just have selective morality? Everything that Israel does is good. Everything that happens to Israel is bad. I don't know, man. There are second and third generation people that didn't settle there or choose to move there. You are not have some sympathy for their humanity as well. You're not answering my question, big dog. You just justified an attack on Lebanese soil, an act of terror, by saying there's a proxy war going on. I asked you, if Hezbollah did the same to Israel, would you find that to be appropriate? Okay? And you can't have answers for that because that would show you as, you know, an actual fucking hypocrite. So what's up? I do have sympathy for Israeli humanity. I do. You, on the other hand, don't have sympathy for the human beings in Lebanon. That's the difference here. Why are you so tribal? Liberal mask is slipping. Tribal in terms of what? Like one human tribe? Is that what you're saying? Would you be okay? Just answer the question. Would you be okay if Hezbollah did the exact same thing? Maybe I don't have access to all the information or understand certain things. Yeah, there's a lot you don't understand. But I think one thing you should change is the little underlying premise that you have in the back of your mind that, like, you know, Israel's enemies are automatically evil and across the board deserve it, and all of their friends and family and the people that they're around also deserve death and destruction.
To the idea that, of course, this is Israel. I know it's not proven yet, but there's no other entity that has the desire and capability of doing something.
Why can't we just not have Hezbollah and Hamas and just have peaceful Christian governments in Lebanon and Israel? Great question. Lebron Narev. Yeah. The peaceful Christian Lebanese. Why can't we just like plant a phalangist government in Lebanon? They were so peaceful. Wait, this motherfucker said Israel? Wait, what? Why can't we have a peaceful Christian government in Israel? I didn't even hear what he was saying. I didn't even read that. Okay, that's a new one. Respect. That's a new one. That's a new one. I respect it because I've never heard that before. Okay? I feel like that straight up, like, motherfucker said, bring back the Crusades. Okay? They tried that, dog. What the fuck? Chatter said Deus Vault. We got to try it again. You know, we haven't tried it hard enough. The Crusades will succeed if you believe, okay?
Something like this, and they hinted at it yesterday. So as for
Oh, okay. Had she considered not being fucking born in Lebanon? Sorry, sucks to suck.
and this is a but they're going to have to fess up to that. I think the Iranians will claim that he was on just a usual beeper network, but it's clear the ties between Hezbollah and Iran and leadership flowed through an ambassador or others who had direct ties with Hezbollah. But this is the regional conflict we've been worried about. Every time we get to a moment where things could be triggered into a greater, I'm not minimizing what's already happening there. It's a regional conflict in some respects, but it's not a regional war. This is the question is are we over the brink now, or can all entities bring it back?
All right, Paula, what more are we learning?
We know from a Lebanese security source that hundreds have been injured. We know that this is a pager system, if you like, that is used by the militant group Hezbollah. We don't know, though, how many Hezbollah have been injured, how many civilians have been injured. That's simply not information we have at this point.
Now I understand why every time there's something bad happening in the US, people celebrate. Yeah, no shit. This was literally the sentiment, part of the sentiment that I was talking about with respect to what we deserve, okay? Like, people see this shit. People see the support and the weapons, the logistical support, the political support America offers to permanent genocide in the third world and directly engages in. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy to me that we just sit here and talk about how fucking sweet that shit is, dude. Like, ooh, how did they pull this off? How the fuck did they pull this off? How nutty, how wild, how dope. Yeah. 9-year-old Fatima Jafar Abdullah. Okay. That was her name. A young girl killed in a northeastern Lebanon's Baalbek district, according to Lebanese media. But hey, fucking mint, dude. Sick operation. So cool and innovative. Wonderful, they said.
So potentially in an hour's time, we will get a lot more clarity on what has happened.
I wonder if any news medias will use the word terror on this literal terror attack. Fuck no. That is only if it is an enemy of the United States. We will never use that when it's a friend to the United States. When it's a proxy state or a vassal state, we will never use those terms.
We do know the public declarations from the Ministry of Health at this point have pointed to the fact that it is a significant event, the fact that they're calling health officials back to their hospitals, saying everybody has to go back to work so that we can cope with the sheer number of injured that are coming into the hospitals, calling for civilians to be giving blood to help with those injuries. So presumably they are significant injuries in some occasions.
Yeah, and we're waiting for that number, but we do have some video just into CNN just showing some footage.
Are you going to cover Mehdi Hassan pressing Jill Stein in his new interview? No, I don't care. Like, I'm not a fan of Jill Stein, but I also don't care enough to like press her. You know what I mean? Or to say that she's like pro-Putin or some shit. Like, I just don't care. It's irrelevant, okay? Like, I just genuinely don't give a shit. Are you pro-Putin? No, dumbass. Of course I'm not fucking pro-Putin. Have people considered that this wasn't planned by Mossad, but instead sinners being smitten by God? There is an error of margin. Okay, I like this chatter. This chatter consistently says the most unhinged shit, so I'm not going to ban him.
Of health workers arriving at hospitals. We'd just like to share that with you. This is what we have right now, and you can see. Okay, Faraz, I want you to give me a sense of, because we've got the immediate impact, so people that are injured, the health department trying to get people back at work immediately. We again trying to confirm the number of injured. We know that it was Hezbollah pages for now, still waiting for that. But there's a political element to this, and it's a really big one at a time where you've got incredible tension in the region. You have a war that is raging between Hamas and Israel, and of course that's spilling over into Lebanon, and the huge ramifications of an attack of this nature.
By the way, Anna is right. I can't believe I'm saying this. Like, I had this conversation with someone the other day where I was like, the only way for me to be pro like PSL ticket is like the constant Jill Stein chirpers. Like, it has officially caused me to be like, dude, I would like at least they are at the forefront of activism in this country, okay? And not just like popping their fucking head into the convo every 4 years when there's an election cycle coming up. Oh my God, dude. It's so... It doesn't matter. I don't even know the names of the PSL ticket. I don't care. I don't care. Like, it is... That shit is so fucking annoying. Like, I don't care enough to be like, Jill Stein is a... I don't care enough to be like, she's spoiling the election, and therefore I have to take her down or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt that today's attack is a watershed moment in this conflict that's been raging now for almost a year between Hezbollah and Israel. But it's not disconnected. There's a broader context here. We all recall back in August the assassination of Hezbollah's chief of staff in the heart of the Hezbollah-controlled southern suburbs of Beirut. There's been a series of attacks against Hezbollah by Israel that can be designed to spark a major war, to be a pretext for broadening this war. And I think Hezbollah is very much being put in a difficult situation, a policy dilemma, if you may. If they respond and respond forcibly to such attacks, this being the latest and perhaps arguably the biggest, then it risks giving Bibi Netanyahu, the Israeli prime minister, the pretext he is looking for to broaden a war,
Jill Stein's Green Party is running a candidate against Rashida Tlaib in November. Chemicals hovering over my vehicle in Michigan. Brenda K. Sanders for Congress. Michigan CD 13 ex-district judge Brenda Sanders, the Green Party nominee versus U.S. Rep. Rashida Tlaib, apparently believes in the nut job chemtrails conspiracy theory. Okay, I'm saying it. I'm pulling the trigger. I can't believe I'm about to say this. I'm sorry. This has to be a Russian op, okay? I'm sorry. That's it. No. That you're, oh my God. That it's just, come on, dude. No. It's got, come on. Give Iran some credit. What the fuck? Iran would never. I don't think Iran has enough espionage capabilities to fucking or even like infiltration capabilities to like actually massage American political interests or try to do like the classic push and pull that Russia loves doing, that shit that Russia does do a lot, and Israel as well, alongside Russia sometimes, like this. If Stein is a Russian op, Kamala is an Israeli op by the same logic. What? She is. What? There's not like a sitting American politician that is in like that level of power that is not unconditionally pro-Israel. Okay. Yeah. I like when chatters will be like, you said something that I consider to be correct, but here's another thing that you also probably will agree with.
This war with Lebanon and potentially pull in Iran. But if they don't, they lose and hemorrhage their deterrence, inviting Israel and Netanyahu to conduct further operations as we see today. There's a third option. And really, I mean, my sense is, particularly with US diplomacy active on this and the presidential envoy in the region, Hezbollah can very much make that decision still to unbuckle the Lebanon front from the Gaza front. That support front, which Hezbollah launched in support of Hamas in October 8th, has run its course and really has very much...
Yeah, just dial it back. Just stop. Come on, please. Just stop defending Gaza. It's over. Come on. Like, this guy is just basically... Like, this guy is just straight up doing, like, Israeli propaganda. That's insane. That's an insane thing that is happening on CNN. He's just like, yeah, my message to Hezbollah is just give up. I'm going to reiterate the position of the Israeli government and the security apparatus in place that if you don't give up, they're going to keep doing more shit like this. Great stuff, man. Thank you.
Yielded very little.
Middle East rep, by the way. Yeah, I mean, this is, of course, yes, he is the guy that they have to speak on Middle Eastern affairs. This is the most Middle Eastern guy. This is the Middle Eastern guy that they're going to get to talk on this issue.
In terms of returns for both Lebanon and Hezbollah and the Iranian axis. So there is a third path here to de-escalate.
But for the record, like, while I say I don't give a shit about what Jill Stein is saying, like, of course, Vladimir Putin is a war criminal. Get the fuck out of here, okay? Of course. Such a dumb thing to even talk about, okay? It's not even a question. All right? It is so silly. Like, such a silly fucking conversation to have. Yes, duh, no shit.
I'm just not too sure Hezbollah will take it.
Time has expired.
Deeply wrong, sir.
Anyway. Do you think he's gay, though? Yeah. I don't know, and I don't care. So, yeah. Once again, leave aside that these pages are used by doctors and nurses. If Hezbollah blew up phones and pages of IDF soldiers, whether or not on duty, or even fucking, again, IDF soldiers or Knesset members, killing them inside of their homes, next to their children, killing the daughter, a 9-year-old daughter of a Knesset member, all hell would break loose. Okay? Is Putin pro-Palestine or pro-Israel? Putin is pro-Putin. Okay, that's a silly question. Silly question. Like, it's hard to think of a more sophisticated and targeted attack on a terror group than the pagers, but Israel will still be condemned. So why can't the critics just be honest? They don't believe in her right to self-defense and never will. Oh, God. Was the 8-year-old girl killed targeted then? No. It's so incredible. It's so incredible. It's so sick. It's so incredible. They did such a sophisticated attack by, exploding pagers. Yeah. Nathan J. Robinson says, Israel knew that detonating all the pagers would mean indiscriminately killing civilians because you have no idea where the person with the pager is going to be. Launching explosions in the fruit markets and killing children is rightly called terrorism. The targets may have been military, but if Hamas put a bomb in an Israeli market in order to kill a military official, we would still consider it terrorism. Not only that, but also Israel directly uses bombs to kill people that they suspect is like high up. And they do end up killing a bunch of civilians in the process inside of Lebanon, in Syria, in Iraq, and many other places. It does not matter. It's just a straight up act of terror, and it is being celebrated by all of our wonderful thinkers in mainstream media. Over 1,000 Hezbollah fighters said injured as their pagers explode in alleged Israeli attack. We know how the U.S. media frames attacks intended for military targets that killed civilians. It's called October 7. Exactly. And in the interest of consistency, honesty, and fairness, I have condemned the civilian casualties during October 7. The problem is, no one will ever be expected to condemn Israel. There is never going to be a person that goes, do you condemn the Israeli terror attack on Lebanese soil? No, fuck no. That's not a question. That's not ever going to be a question.